First Contact Protocol. Dr. Zixtal's primary sensory tendrils quivered as she studied the holographic readouts floating before her. After 15 years as the Galactic Union's chief xenoneurologist, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. Run the scan again, she commanded her medical eye. Her secondary tendrils instinctively curled into what her human patients often called a stress ball formation. Confirmed, doctor. Neural activity patterns remain consistent with previous 17 scans. The AI responded in its characteristically neutral tone. The subject of her scrutiny, Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Diplomatic Corps, sat patiently on the examination table. Like the 5 other human diplomats Zixtal had examined that day, Chen showed absolutely normal vital signs for a human, but the neural scanning data was impossible. Commander Chen, Zixtal began carefully, in your species' medical documentation, there's a commonly cited statistic that humans only use 10% of their brain capacity. Is this correct? Chen nodded. That's what we've always been taught, though I remember reading somewhere that it might be a myth. Is something wrong? Zixtal's tendrils rippled in what humans had learned to recognize as their equivalent of nervous laughter. Wrong. No, Commander. But if your species believes you're only using 10% of your neural capacity, we need to seriously recalibrate our understanding of human potential. According to these scans, you're currently utilizing approximately 47% of your total neural capacity, while sitting here completely at rest. Chen's eyes widened. That can't be right. We'd know if we were using that much of our brains, wouldn't we? One would think so, Zixtal agreed, manipulating the holographic display to highlight specific regions of Chen's neural activity. But look here. These patterns suggest your species has developed specialized neural networks that operate on a quantum level. They're processing massive amounts of information, but somehow your conscious mind isn't aware of it. The doctor's primary tendril traced a complex pattern in the air. It's as if your species evolved a parallel neural processing system that works alongside your conscious mind. The truly fascinating part is how it seems to interface with quantum fields we previously thought were only accessible to species with natural psionic abilities. Chen leaned forward, her diplomatic training momentarily forgotten in her fascination. Are you saying humans have psychic powers we don't know about? Not exactly, Zixtal said, though her color-shifting scales betrayed her excitement. But your brains appear to be naturally interfacing with quantum fields in ways we've never seen before. The real question is, why didn't you evolve conscious access to these capabilities? Before Chen could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the medical bay. The holographic displays flickered and distorted. Warning, the station AI announced. Quantum field fluctuations detected in Medical Bay 7. All personnel please evacuate immediately. Zixtal's tendrils went rigid as she watched the readings spike. The quantum field distortions were emanating from Commander Chen, and they were growing stronger by the second. Commander, Zixtal said carefully, I need you to remain calm. Something about our scanning process seems to have triggered an autonomic response in your quantum neural network. Chen's face had gone pale. Doctor, I can hear voices, thousands of them, all at once. Her hands gripped the examination table so hard her knuckles turned white. What's happening to me? Fascinating, Zixtal whispered, even as she signaled for emergency containment protocols. It seems our attempts to measure your neural activity have inadvertently activated dormant neural pathways. Commander Chen, you may be about to demonstrate why your species evolved to suppress these capabilities in the first place. The lights flickered again as Chen's eyes rolled back in her head. The last thing Zixtal saw before the emergency containment field activated was Commander Chen floating 6 inches above the examination table, surrounded by a visible distortion in the fabric of space-time itself. The doctor's final thought, before evacuation protocols forced her from the medical bay, was that the Galactic Union's first contact protocols were about to undergo some very significant revisions. The awakening. The quarantine ward of Galactic Union Station, 7 had never housed a patient quite like Commander Chen. Through the quantum-shielded observation window, Dr. Zixtal watched as invisible forces caused medical instruments to orbit the unconscious human like satellites around a planet. "Remarkable containment field stability," muttered Dr. Cranvex, the station's chief of tenopsychology. His crystalline form refracted the emergency lighting in nervous patterns. "Most Level 3 quantum events shred our barriers in minutes. She's been in there for 6 hours. Because she's not trying to break out," Zixtal responded, her tendrils moving in complex calculations. "The quantum field manifestations are completely unconscious. It's as if her brain is practicing." The human diplomatic team had been relocated to a separate section of the station, all scheduled for immediate neural scanning. But initial results suggested Commander Chen's case was unique. She was the only one showing active quantum field manipulation. "Security teams are getting nervous," Cranvex said. "The Union Council is demanding answers. How do we explain that humans have been walking around with untapped psionic potential that rivals our most powerful psion adepts?" Zixtal's scales shifted to a deep blue of concentration. "We don't know that yet. This could be an isolated case. What fascinates me is the neural architecture we're seeing. These quantum pathways, they're not new formations. They've always been there, dormant. Our scans simply woke them up." A soft groan from the quarantine chamber interrupted their discussion. Commander Chen's eyes fluttered open, and the orbiting medical instruments clattered to the floor. "Doctor." Chen's voice came through the comm system, surprisingly steady. "Why am I in containment? And why can I feel the thoughts of everyone on this level of the station?" Zixtal activated the internal comm. "Remain calm, Commander. You're experiencing the effects of activated quantum neural pathways. We believe our scanning process served as a catalyst, awakening dormant capabilities in your brain." Chen sat up slowly, rubbing her temples. "It's like background noise. Thousands of thoughts and emotions, all jumbled together. But I can sort of tune it out if I concentrate." She paused, her eyes widening. "Doctor, I can sense the composition of the containment field. I understand how it works. How is that possible?" "Quantum field sensitivity," Cranvex interjected. "You're perceiving reality at the quantum level. Most species require generations of evolutionary development or centuries of technological advancement to achieve this. Yet your brain adapted in hours. The real question," Zixtal added, "is why humans evolved these capabilities only to keep them dormant. Evolution doesn't waste energy maintaining unused neural pathways unless they serve a purpose we don't yet understand," Chen finished. She stood up, steadier now. "Doctor, I need to talk to the other human diplomats. Something's happening to their neural patterns too. I can feel it." Zixtal's tendrils froze in shock. The quarantine chamber was supposed to block all quantum field interactions. If Chen could sense the other humans through the containment field. "Security alert," the station AI announced suddenly. "Multiple quantum field anomalies detected in diplomatic quarter. Emergency protocols engage." Chen's face went pale. "They're awakening too. All of them. And they're scared. Doctor, you need to let me help them, or things are about to get very chaotic." As if in response to her words, the station's gravity field fluctuated. In the diplomatic quarter, 5 other humans were about to discover abilities their species had hidden from itself for millennia. The question was no longer whether humans had suppressed their true potential, but why. And as emergency alarms began blaring throughout the station, Dr. Zixtal realized they might be about to find out the hard way. Cranvex's crystalline form vibrated in distress. "Doctor, the Union Council is demanding we terminate the quantum field experiments immediately. They're concerned about station stability." "Terminate?" Zixtal's scales flushed with indignation. "We're witnessing the awakening of capabilities that could revolutionize our understanding of consciousness itself. And more importantly," she added, watching Chen's calm, focused expression, I don't think we could stop it now if we wanted to. The gravity fluctuated again, stronger this time. In the diplomatic quarter, 5 humans were about to change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The only question was whether the Galactic Union was ready for what humanity might become. Commander Chen placed her hand against the containment field's interior surface. "Doctor, we need to move quickly. I can feel their confusion turning to panic. And there's something else." She frowned. "Something buried in our collective unconscious, trying to surface. I think we're about to remember something our species has been trying very hard to forget. Hidden potential." The diplomatic quarter of Station 7 had been transformed into what Dr. Zixel's instruments identified as a quantum nexus. 6 humans, led by Commander Chen, sat in a circle on the floor of the main conference room, their eyes closed in deep concentration. The air around them shimmered with visible quantum distortions. "Neural synchronization at 78% and climbing," reported Dr. Cranvex, his crystalline form pulsing with each new data point. "They're achieving naturally what our most advanced psi meditation chambers take decades to facilitate." Zixtel's tendrils moved in patterns of scientific ecstasy. "They're not just synchronizing. They're forming a quantum neural network. Look at these patterns. They're accessing shared memories, ancestral memories." In the center of the circle, Commander Chen's voice emerged, strange and distant. "We remember. We chose this. Long ago. The forgetting was necessary." The other 5 humans spoke in unison, their voices overlapping in an eerie chorus. The power was too great. The responsibility too heavy. We were not ready. Emergency containment fields hummed around the conference room, but Zixtel knew they were purely symbolic at this point. The humans' combined quantum field had already expanded beyond the station's ability to contain. They were allowing themselves to be contained, a thought that sent shivers through her scales. "Doctor," one of her junior researchers called out, "you need to see this. Historical scans of Earth's quantum field readings. They're off the charts. The entire planet has been surrounded by a quantum suppression field for millennia." "A self-imposed limitation," Zixtal whispered. "Their entire species chose to lock away their potential until they were ready to handle it responsibly. But ready for what?" As if in response to her question, Commander Chen's eyes snapped open. They glowed with an inner light that made Zixel's scientific instruments shriek in protest. "We remember the wars," Chen said, her voice layered with echoes of ancient memory. "The First Awakening. Worlds burned. Civilizations fell. We were children playing with nuclear fire." The other diplomats spoke again in unison. "We chose to forget, to start over, to evolve slowly, naturally, until we could handle the power without destroying ourselves." Cranvex's crystalline form vibrated with alarm. "Doctor, quantum field density is approaching critical levels. If they continue to amplify each other like this, the station's structural integrity could be compromised," Zixtal finished. But she made no move to intervene. Something told her they were witnessing a crucial moment in human evolution. Commander Chen rose to her feet, the others following in perfect synchronization. "The suppression is failing. Not just here, everywhere. Earth's quantum field is destabilizing. Millions are beginning to remember, to awaken. The Galactic Union needs to understand." Another diplomat added, "This isn't just about 6 humans on a space station. Our entire species is about to undergo a transformation we deliberately postponed millennia ago." Zixtel's scientific mind raced with the implications. "Your species chose to evolutionarily handicap itself, to grow up without access to your full potential, all to avoid repeating some ancient catastrophe. To avoid destroying ourselves and others," Chen corrected. "But now," she paused, her glowing eyes distant, "now we're remembering how to control it. The wisdom our ancestors hoped we would gain. We're ready to try again." Suddenly, every piece of electronic equipment in the room sparked and died. In the darkness, the human's quantum aura became visible to the naked eye, a shifting, swirling aurora of conscious energy. "Doctor," Chen said urgently, "you need to contact the Union Council. Earth's quantum suppression field will fail within days. When it does, 10 billion humans will begin to awaken. Some will remember faster than others. Some will struggle with the power. We'll need help," another diplomat added. "Guidance, the kind of wisdom the Galactic Union has accumulated over millennia of managing species with quantum abilities." Zixtal's scales shifted to a deep purple of determination. "I'll speak to the Council immediately. But they'll want to know, what exactly are we dealing with? What is humanity about to become?" Commander Chen smiled, and in that smile Zixtal saw both ancient wisdom and fresh wonder. "We're about to become what we were always meant to be. Not gods, not monsters, but humans who finally understand the full scope of our potential and the responsibility that comes with it." The quantum aura pulsed, and for a moment, every being on Station 7 felt a glimpse of that potential, a future where humanity's awakened abilities could either lift the galaxy to new heights or tear it apart. The crisis. Station 7's emergency alarms screamed to life as the quantum distortion wave approached. Through the observation deck's reinforced windows, Dr. Zixtal watched the approaching anomaly with a mixture of scientific fascination and primal fear. The wave front rippled like heat haze across the stars, distorting spacetime itself. Multiple quantum rifts detected. The station AI announced. Station shields at 47% and falling. Impact in 3 minutes. Commander Chen stood beside Zixtal, her eyes glowing with quantum energy as she studied the approaching phenomenon. "It's not an attack," she said quietly. "It's a wake-up call. The suppression field around Earth didn't just fail, it shattered. This is the quantum feedback wave." The station shuddered as another shield generator overloaded. In the medical bay, hundreds of humans, station crew, passengers, and diplomatic staff were awakening to abilities they never knew they had. Some were handling it better than others. Security teams report quantum manifestations throughout the station. Dr. Cranvex reported, his crystalline form flickering with anxiety. 17 humans are exhibiting extreme psychological distress, their quantum fields becoming dangerously unstable. Chen nodded grimly. The memories are returning too fast for some. Thousands of generations of suppressed potential, all trying to surface at once, if we don't help them stabilize. She didn't need to finish the thought. They'd all seen the historical records now, extracted from humanity's awakening collective consciousness. The ancient wars that had led humanity to suppress their abilities had left entire solar systems uninhabitable. Station shields at 31%. The AI updated. Impact in 2 minutes. Zixtal's tendrils whipped in agitation. The Union Council is evacuating all non-essential personnel. They're considering implementing emergency quantum containment protocols. "That won't work," Chen said, her voice carrying echoes of ancient knowledge. "You can't contain this any more than you can contain an awakening consciousness. What we need is—" She paused, her eyes widening. "Of course, we don't need containment. We need connection." Without warning, Chen reached out and grabbed Zixtal's primary tendril. The xenoneurologist's scales flared in shock as quantum energy surged through the connection. In an instant, she understood Chen's plan. "You want to use the station's quantum communication network," Zixtal gasped. "Create a feedback loop between all the awakening humans, help them stabilize each other." "Better," Chen smiled. "We're going to use it to remember how to protect ourselves. The knowledge is there, in our collective memory. We just need to access it together." Station shields at 19%, the AI announced. Impact in 1 minute. Chen turned to address the observation deck, her voice carrying through quantum fields rather than air. "To all humans on Station 7, stop fighting the memories. Stop trying to control the power. Remember why we chose to forget. Remember how we learned to protect ourselves. Remember, together." The effect was immediate and stunning. Throughout the station, awakening humans stopped struggling against their emerging abilities. Their chaotic quantum fields began to synchronize, forming patterns that Sixtel's instruments recognized from ancient Earth scans. "Remarkable," Cranvex whispered. "They're reconstructing their ancestors' quantum defense protocols from genetic memory alone." "Station shields at 12%, the AI reported. "Impact in 30 seconds. Chen's eyes blazed brighter. "Now we remember the most important lesson. Power isn't about control. It's about harmony." As the quantum wave front struck Station 7, something extraordinary happened. Instead of the expected catastrophic shield failure, the combined quantum fields of every awakened human on board synchronized into a perfect harmonic pattern. The wave passed through them like light through a prism, its chaotic energy transformed into a stable, self-sustaining quantum matrix. "Quantum field stabilization detected," the AI announced, almost sounding surprised. "Station structural integrity holding at 94%. Through her quantum link with Chen, Zixtel felt the triumph of hundreds of awakened humans as they rediscovered not just their power, but their ability to work together in controlling it. The ancient knowledge was flowing freely now, but tempered by modern wisdom and perspective. "This is just the beginning," Chen said, releasing Zixtel's tendril. "Earth's quantum awakening will trigger similar waves throughout human space. Billions will need guidance in remembering safely, in handling their powers responsibly." Zixtel's scales shifted to a deep blue of comprehension. "You'll need the Galactic Union's help, our experience in managing quantum-capable species. More than that," Chen interrupted. "We'll need partners. The mistakes of the past happened because humanity tried to handle this alone. This time, we want to awaken alongside the galactic community, to grow into our potential with the wisdom of other species to guide us." As if to emphasize her point, another quantum wave appeared on the sensors, larger than the first. But this time, no one on Station 7 was afraid. They remembered now, not just the power, but the responsibility that came with it. Humanity's second awakening had begun. This time, they wouldn't face it alone. New understanding. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Union had never been so crowded. Representatives from over 1,000 species packed the tiered seating, their attention fixed on the holographic display dominating the chamber center. It showed Earth, surrounded by a shimmering quantum aurora that pulsed in time with the collective consciousness of 10 billion awakening humans. Commander Chen stood before the council, her quantum aura now a controlled, steady glow rather than the wild brilliance of first awakening. Dr. Zixtel noticed how the other council members unconsciously leaned away from the human, not in fear, but in instinctive recognition of vast potential held carefully in check. "The suppression is fully lifted," Chen reported, her voice carrying subtle harmonic undertones that made the chamber's quantum sensors hum. "Humanity is remembering, not just our abilities, but why we chose to forget them. The wisdom of that choice is humbling." High Counselor Vextrix, their crystalline form refracting the aurora's light, spoke for the assembly. "Our historical archives have been updated with the recovered memories of human quantum civilization, the scale of power your ancestors wielded, and the devastation of their wars. It explains much. It explains everything," Zixtel interjected, her tendrils moving in excitement. "The mysterious quantum anomalies in human space, the unusual neural architecture, even their remarkable adaptability. All of it was shaped by the greatest act of species-wide self-preservation we've ever encountered." The holographic display shifted, showing a time-lapse of human history. The quantum suppression field had done more than just lock away humanity's powers. It had guided their evolution, ensuring they would develop the wisdom to handle their abilities before regaining them. "We believe now," Chen continued, "that our ancestors encoded a failsafe into the suppression field. It would only fail when humanity had achieved sufficient technological and ethical development to handle the awakening responsibly. Recent events, our peaceful first contact with the Galactic Union, our handling of various crises, our demonstrated capacity for cooperation, triggered that failsafe. The chamber hummed with quantum frequencies as billions of awakening humans continued to remember, to understand, to grow into their potential. But unlike their ancestors, this awakening was controlled, measured, supported by the combined wisdom of the Galactic Union. The Union Council has reviewed humanity's proposal, Vextrix announced. The establishment of joint quantum development facilities, the integration of human consciousness into the galactic quantum network, and the creation of a new division dedicated to helping other species explore their own quantum potential, all have been approved. Chen's quantum aura pulsed with satisfaction, but Zixtal noticed the careful control behind it. 2 weeks of awakening had taught humanity precision in their powers that took other species generations to master. There is one other matter, Chen said, her tone growing serious. As we've recovered our ancestral memories, we've discovered something concerning. The quantum wars that led to our self-suppression. They weren't just fought against ourselves. The chamber grew still. In the holographic display, Earth's quantum aurora pulsed darker. There are things out there, Chen continued, in the spaces between galaxies, ancient quantum entities that our ancestors encountered. They're the real reason we chose to suppress our abilities, not just to protect ourselves from our own power, but to hide from them until we were ready. Zixtal's scales shifted to a deep purple of comprehension. The quantum anomalies we've detected at the galaxy's edge. They're not natural phenomena, are they? No, Chen confirmed. They're coming closer. Our ancestors faced them unprepared, divided, drunk on power without wisdom. This time, she gestured to the assembled council, to the 1,000 species represented there. This time, humanity awakens as part of something greater. We face the future not as conquerors or gods, but as partners in the greatest alliance consciousness has ever known. The holographic display shifted one final time, showing the galaxy's edge where strange quantum distortions were indeed growing stronger. But now, watching them, Zixtal felt not fear but anticipation. Humanity had chosen the perfect moment to remember who they truly were, just when the galaxy needed them most. In the end, it turned out that humans had never really been using just 10% of their brains. They had been using 100% of their potential to keep the other 900% safely contained until they were ready for it. Now, awakened and wise, supported by the combined knowledge of 1,000 species, humanity was finally ready to face both their power and the responsibilities that came with it. The real test of that wisdom was approaching from between the stars. But this time, humanity would not face it alone. The quantum awakening had begun as a crisis. It would end as the galaxy's greatest strength.